Welcome to Gentle Yoga. I'm Leo Bray on behalf of Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center. Please visit us online at urbanyoga.org or Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center on Facebook to check out the schedule of daily classes, see when you can join us in person if you're local and you want to. We're outdoors at a distance with masks. It's all nice and safe. And there's a tip jar online where you can make contributions, donations to support our classes because we don't currently have fee structure mechanism thingy in place. So it's pay what you can when you can. And today's gentle class, we're going to start in a reclined posture with the soles of the feet together. I'm just going to turn and give a side view. So you can bring the soles of your feet together and come onto your back, or some folks like to come onto their back and then bring their feet together. Some find that easier. Either's fine. If it's not comfortable to have the soles of your feet together, you could just plant your feet on the floor and let your knees lean towards each other a bit. If you do have your feet together, you could put blocks under the outsides of your legs to support the weight of your legs and make the posture even more passive. Allow for a little more opening in the pelvis and lower back here. You might rest your hands on the floor or rest your hands on your body. Maybe feeling your heartbeat or feeling the movement of your breath or both, or just some grounding weight, sometimes on the thighs. Whatever you like to do with your hands is just fine. Close your eyes if you want. Notice your breathing. Let it slow down and get deeper as your body accepts the support beneath it. Feel your contact with the floor, with the mat, with your blocks if you're using blocks, the contact of your hands if you're resting your hands on your body. Notice the movements of your breathing and the sensations that come with these movements. Start to expand your focus beyond your breathing to take in everything that's going on with your body right now. Scan your body and just notice whatever there is to notice. Make particular note of anything that's off, out of whack, any stiffness, any soreness you detect. And by making mental notes of these things, you can keep them in mind as we practice, knowing that you're welcome to skip or modify any part of the practice to accommodate what's going on in your body. And find the practice that's best for you. Whenever your mind wanders, as it inevitably will, gently redirect, come back to these central points of focus. Your breathing, what's going on in your body, taking care of yourself. In addition to these shared intentions of ours, you might have your own intention for practice today that you want to layer on. If so, let that intention finish coming together and take root. And with our intentions in place, let's share 3 deep cleansing breaths. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth with a sighing sound. If you have blocks under your knees, you could move the blocks out of the way. If you have your knees splayed like that, you can use your arms to nudge your knees towards each other. Let the soles of your feet come to the mat. Avoid straining the legs. Draw your right knee in towards your chest, hug your knee, and extend and lower your left leg. Press your left calf and left heel to the floor. Reach your right arm to the side. Use your left arm to draw your knee over to the left, then turn your head to the right. Try to keep your shoulder blades grounded. Slowly come back to center, and we'll switch legs. Draw your left knee in, hug your knee, extend and lower your right leg. Your left arm, draw your knee to the right, then turn your head to the left. Bring it all back to center. Draw both knees in. Inhale, extend your arms and legs, reach your hands away from your feet. And exhale, curl up in a ball again. And repeat for a few rounds of breath at your pace. You don't have to go at the same pace I'm going. Follow your breath. See if you can use the whole inhale to lengthen and use the whole exhale to curl up. At the end of your next exhale, hug your knees and rock and roll on your back to massage your back against the floor for a few breaths. Whatever movement feels good on your back. Reach your arms overhead and let the weight of your legs tip you onto your side. Plant your hand and press up to a seat. Sit in whatever position is comfortable for you. You don't have to sit the way I sit. I'm just going to sit like this. Find the grounding contact. Just feel into whatever's on the ground. Think about the length of your spine to help you sit up tall without being stiff or being rigid. Let your chin fall toward your chest. We'll make some nice slow circles with our head to open up the neck. Take your time, roll your ear towards your shoulder. Look up towards the ceiling and the other ear towards the other shoulder. Chin back down by the sternum. If you find any spots that feel particularly tight, you might pause at the tight spot and rock back and forth. Undo some of that tightness. If you don't find any particularly tight spots, congratulations. And we'll take some in each direction. So when you finish the next circle, switch. And when you finish the next circle, lift your chin and look forward. Reach your arms out to the sides and rest your fingertips on the floor, staying long in your spine. Inhale, reach your left arm up alongside your ear. As you exhale, reach across to the right. Feel for length from your left hip up through your left fingertips. Allow your head to be wherever your neck feels comfortable. Inhale to come upright. As you exhale, float your left hand to the floor behind you. Bring your right hand to your left leg. Inhale, lengthen up through the crown of your head. As you exhale, invite your body to twist some more. Just asking on each breath if your body wants to go further. With each exhale, see if there's a bit more room. See if that feels helpful. Let yourself unwind and come back to center. On an inhale, lift your right arm up. And exhale, reach across to your left. Inhale, bring yourself upright. As you exhale, come into your other twist. Right hand to the floor behind you. Rest your fingertips. Left hand to right leg. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, see about twisting some more. Just as much as feels like enough. Let yourself unwind and come back to center. Rest your hands on your legs. Inhale, bring your heart forward. Let your head tip back. Exhale, draw your heart back. Let your head tip forward. And continue for a few more rounds of breath at your pace. Observing maybe the movement's getting bigger, maybe the breath's deepening more with repetition. The movement helping the breath helping the movement. And after your next exhale, start to make your way up onto your hands and knees. So a gentle way to get there is to tip to one hip, plant your hands, swing the legs around. And you might square things off with your hips above your knees, your shoulders above your wrists. If that feels like too much on your wrists, bring your hands further forward so your shoulders are more behind your wrists. Take care of those wrists. Reach back, press into the ball of your right foot and take a couple breaths. Relax the pressure on your foot and bring it out to the side in line with your hip. And starting out very small, we're going to gently explore some rocking. A little goes a long way. Be mindful of how it feels on the inner right thigh here. You're going to exhale, sit back a little towards your left heel, and inhale, come forward. So maybe the movements stay small, maybe they start to grow bigger. Listen to your body. And your foot might rest on the inside edge, or the sole of your foot might be on the floor. Either's fine. Just let your foot do what it wants to there. My foot doesn't do the same thing every time. Sometimes it flattens like now, sometimes it doesn't want to. Next time you come forward, pause with the rocking, walk your hands forward. And this will look like downward facing dog in your upper body with your arms extended. Let your head drop down between your arms, let your neck disengage. Scoot your hands over to the left, maybe about a foot. And aiming to send your left hip maybe 2 inches towards your left heel, push into your hands. Walk your hands back to center and then back in towards you. Sweep your foot back behind and bring your knee down again. Take a few rounds of cow and cat. Inhale, bring your heart forward, let your head and tailbone go up. Exhale, draw your heart up, let your head and tailbone come down. After your next exhale, come back through table. And we'll do it all for the other side. Reach back, press into the ball of your left foot, and take a couple breaths. Ease off the pressure on your foot, slide it slowly out to the side. Let it come to rest in line with your hip. Remember to start small as you explore the rocking. Exhale, sit back a little. Inhale, come forward. Remaining mindful of the sensation on the inner left thigh. Each practice is an exploration. Some days the movements might be bigger, some days smaller. Listening to the body, seeing what it wants each time. One side might move more than the other, and that's okay too. Next time you come forward, we'll stop with the rocking. Walk your hands forward. Let your head come down between your arms. And scoot your hands over to the right about a foot. And give that push into your hands. Send your right hip a little bit back towards your right heel. Walk your hands back to center line. And back in towards you. Slide your foot back behind. Bring your left knee down again. Take a few cow and cat breaths. And after your next exhale, come back to table. We'll start to stand. You might bring blocks into play here to ease the transition from table to forward fold. Hands under your blocks are like bringing the floor closer to your hands, and it gives you more room to move your leg. If you step 1 foot forward, it might take more than one step. You might use your arm to help your leg, and then step the other foot forward. Let your arms and your head be heavy. You might have your hands on the blocks here still, or let your hands hang in the air, or drag on the ground, or clasp your elbows. Bend and straighten your legs. Sway back and forth. Bending one leg, then the other to whatever degree feels helpful. Feeling into lengthening in the back of the body. Nice and slowly, nod your head yes. And shake your head no. Inhale, lift up halfway, press your hands to the front of your legs. Feel for the crown of your head reaching forward away from your tailbone. Exhale, relax down. Inhale, roll slowly to standing, hands up overhead, palms together. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Let your hands hang at your sides. Lift your left shoulder towards your ear. Shift it back and let it down. And then your right shoulder up and back and down. Inhale, reach out to the sides. Exhale, reach for your shoulder blades and hug yourself. Or if you like, you can take eagle arms, intertwining your arms and pressing your palms together. If you take eagle, you can then nudge your elbows and hands forward and up. Inhale, open up again. As you exhale, cross your arms the opposite way. Reach for your shoulder blades or take your eagle. Breathe into the space between your shoulder blades. Inhale, open up. Exhale, twist to the left. Take a couple of breaths in the twist. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, twist to the right. Take a couple breaths. Inhale, come back. Exhale, let your arms down. Inhale your arms out and up overhead. Interlace your fingers, reach your palms up, look up at your hands and lift up your heart. Inhale, come upright. Exhale, bend to the right, feel the length through both arms. Try to keep your left heel anchored and try not to let your left shoulder curl forward past your ear. Inhale, come upright. Exhale, bend to the left. Inhale, come up. Exhale, let your arms come down. Pausing to take a little drink of my water. Set your blocks near the front of your mat. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Plant your hands on your blocks and step your right foot back. Plant the ball of your foot. First, find length here, and runner's lunge. And then let your right knee down. We're going to explore rocking movement in the hips. Let the right toes uncurl too. Rest the top of the foot on the mat. Now we're going to rock back and forth and take the blocks with us. So you might slide your blocks or you might pick them up as we go. We're going to go like this. Inhale, sit back towards your right heel. Rock onto your left heel. Lengthen that front leg. Stay long in the spine and just go to wherever it feels okay for you. So maybe it's like this with tall blocks and you're not going back as far. Or maybe it's more like this. See what feels good in your body. And then we're going to go forward and back. So exhale, slide forward. Inhale, come back. And just see how much of each movement feels good to you. Maybe your knee even goes further than your ankle when you come forward. So go forward as much as you want, go back as much as you want. And you can figure out what height on the blocks works for you. If you're really open and limber here, maybe you don't even need blocks. I don't know that I can do this without blocks. I can. Okay, well, that's news. It's been a while since I tried that. It's nice to have the blocks though and help keep the spine long, really. So I've discovered I can do it without them, but I like how it feels with them even better. So nice stretch in the quadriceps, the calf, the hamstrings, and of course some nice opening through the hips. Pause when you come forward, and let's switch legs by just stepping to a forward fold. Step the left foot back, find length in your runner's lunge, and then let that back knee down and uncurl those back toes. Inhale, rock back. Keep in mind one side might feel easier than the other, and respect that. Don't try to force the tighter side to go as far as the other side. Start rocking as you like. And pause at the front or the back as much as you want. Maybe you want to keep rocking, or maybe you want to explore pausing at the front or pausing at the back, maybe bouncing a little. And come forward again. Let's step back up to forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, come down. Inhale, all the way up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands. Let's step back to plank. Plank can be like this, hands and feet, or you can let your knees down and do plank like that if that feels better. Either way, your hips come down in line with your shoulders and your knees, whether the plank is this long or this long. Exhaling, slowly lower all the way down. Keep your elbows in close. Just see how slow you can go without stopping your breath. Let everything go. Untuck your toes. Rest your chin on the floor. Press into your hands. Inhale, lift your head and chest. Maybe just a little, whatever height feels okay in your lower back. Maybe just a nice low cobra to start. Exhale, rock back to table. Curl your toes under. Press into your feet to lift your knees. Press into your hands to lift your tail. Downward facing dog. Pedal your feet. Lowering one heel as you raise the other. Bending one knee at a time. Heels getting closer to the ground. Find stillness for a breath or two in downward dog. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step your feet to meet your hands. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, come down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. If stepping from downward dog to forward fold was a little tricky, having blocks under your hands can ease the transition, and you can do that whole sun salutation series with the blocks. I'll do that now. Inhale up. Exhale down. You decide whether you want to use your blocks or not. Inhale halfway up. Exhale down. Blocks don't have to be a case of I have to do this. I need these to do it. Sometimes we can do things with or without the blocks, and it just feels better one way than it does the other. Step back to your plank. The more I practice, the more I use blocks. When I was new, I didn't use them much. Exhale, lower halfway or all the way. Inhale, bring your heart forward, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, back and up to downward dog. And maybe your heels are closer to the floor with blocks under your hands. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step your feet forward. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, come down. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, up again. And exhale, down again. Inhale, come halfway up. And exhale, down. Plant your hands and step back to your plank. On an exhale, lower. On your inhale, open your heart. On your exhale, go back to downward dog. And take 3 cleansing breaths. Let your knees gently down. Then make your way to child's pose. You can bring your big toes together. Send your knees further apart if you like. If you have knee trouble, it might feel better to keep them closer. Sit back towards your heels. You could reach your hands forward and let your head come down to the mat. If your head doesn't quite reach the floor, you could put a block under your forehead or stack your hands and rest your head on the back of your hands. Maybe you've got a folded blanket handy or a meditation cushion, a pillow. Having your head supported allows your neck to disengage. And speaking of disengaging, you might also vary your child's pose by reaching your hands back towards your feet and giving your shoulders a break. Maybe you feel a little fatigued in the upper body from the sun salutations. Observe your breathing, observe what's going on in your body. Inhale, come forward and up to table. And we're going to transition to sitting. So a couple ways to do this. You can cross your ankles and walk your hands in towards your knees and roll over your ankles. Or, because not everyone likes to do that, you could tip to one hip and just swing your legs around. So you wind up sitting with your legs extended forward and your feet flexed back towards you. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold down over your legs. If your knees want to bend, let them bend. When you inhale, think of the crown of your head reaching forward. When you exhale, think of lowering. Let your breath do the work. Resist the urge to use your arms to yank yourself further into the fold. And make it a point to not grab my feet or my legs to help me remember not to do that. Because yes, I could grab on with my hands and use my arms to go deeper, but it feels better to let the breath invite a little deepening in the fold. Inhaling, walk your hands up the front of your legs and sit yourself up. Let your arms nudge your legs apart to whatever degree feels okay for you. And walk your hands down your legs to whatever degree feels okay for you. So maybe your hands end up at your knees, maybe on your shins, maybe on your ankles, maybe on your feet. Whatever's right for you. Bring your left hand over next to your right hand and take a couple breaths. Reach your right arm out to the side, turn your head to look towards your hand. Turn your thumb down. Bend your elbow, reach the back of your hand towards your left hip and peel your right shoulder back. Good, extend that arm and bring the right hand back over by the left. Take a couple breaths. Bring your left hand back over to the left foot or left leg. Take a couple of breaths. Bring your right hand over to join the left and take a couple breaths. Open your left arm to the side, turn your head to the left. Turn your thumb down, bend your elbow to reach the back of your hand towards your right hip and peel your left shoulder back. Extend your arm, bring the left hand back over by the right hand. Bring your right hand back over to the right. Walk your hands slowly up the front of your legs. Let your arms help you sit upright. Nudge your legs towards each other. Bring the soles of your feet together with a big space between your heels and your pelvis. I'm going to grab the floor. You might reach under your ankles and grab the floor, but maybe that doesn't work for you. Then you can reach over your ankles and grab the floor. Either's fine. And walk your hands forward. So we're using traction in our arms to make this pretzel shape. And lastly, let your neck disengage. Let your head drop towards the floor. Breathe into your lower back. Start to scoot your hands back and press up from the floor. Bring the torso upright. Bring your heels in as close to your pelvis as you can, keeping your feet together. Interlace your fingers and grab your toes. Wriggle on your seat to tilt your pelvis forward, bringing the bones in the seat closer to the floor. Inhale, lengthen up through the crown of your head. Exhale, hinge at your hips, fold forward with your spine long at first. When the long spine's not coming down anymore, let your head down and breathe into your hips. Inhale, slowly sit yourself up. Bring your hands to the outsides of your knees. Nudge your knees up towards each other like closing a book. Rest your hands on the floor out past your hips. Wiggle your feet further apart, maybe to the edges of your mat. Let your knees drift back and forth to whatever degree they want to. So it's okay if your knees don't tap the floor like this. There was a good period of time where my knees didn't go that far. This is like taking a tour of the space you've opened up in your hips so far through practice. And next we'll play with bridge pose. You could use blocks in bridge pose. You can use the block in the middle width, set your feet that far apart. And depending on how many blocks you have, you might leave a block there, but just keep your feet planted, scoot towards your heels, come onto your forearms and onto your back. So your heels are as close to your butt as they'll go. And you can put a block between your knees on that same position if you like. And pressing into the soles of your feet. Inhale to lift your hips up into bridge pose. Take a couple breaths here. On an exhale, slowly come down. Float up and down at your pace. Inhale to go up and exhale to go down. If you want to make it more challenging, you can aim higher or go more slowly or take extra breaths at the top. And I'm going to come to a supported bridge. Maybe you want to keep floating up and down, or maybe you join me in supported bridge. We come to supported bridge by lifting up, pausing at the top, putting a block under the sacrum, and coming down to rest on the block. You can use the block at whatever height you like. Most often we use the lowest height. I'm feeling like going to the middle height today. It's rare that we use the block on the tallest position for supported bridge. I've only done it once. And the caution there is to come out of supported bridge, you need to go a little higher than you are in the supported bridge. So using the block on the tall position felt pretty nice, but coming out of that did not. Going that little degree higher to get the block out of there didn't feel good for me. Many days the lowest position is right. Today, this middle position feels beneficial. Letting the block do the work, bringing some nice release in the pelvis and lower back. Sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's more profound. And let's wrap up playing with bridge. If you've been in supported bridge, you can remove the block from underneath you and gently come down. Maybe pause for a couple breaths after you land. Move the blocks well out of the way. Draw your knees to your chest, hug your knees. Rock and roll on your back, massaging it against the ground. And we're going to use the strap to explore some more hip opening, leg stretching. I'm going to reorient because this orientation seems to work best for showing this on screen. Bring your knees towards your chest. Open the strap and run it under your feet. And check in with grounding. Feel the back of your head and your shoulder blades and your sacrum on the ground. Without lifting them, reach your feet up so that your legs and your strap and your arms are long. Not worried about any angles, not looking to straighten, just lengthen. Point your toes up at the ceiling. Point your toes down towards your face. Allow your feet to relax. Slide your feet away from each other, keeping them inside your strap. And bring your feet back towards each other. Take your right foot out of the strap, press your right leg to the floor, press your right heel and right calf to the floor. Hold the strap in your right hand, reach your left arm to the side. Keep your shoulder blades on the floor. Now your sacrum is going to lift. You're going to bring your leg over to the right and turn your head to the left. And we'll hang out here for a minute because spending time in this strap supported posture can bring a little more opening. And just see how far the leg wants to go, not forcing it, inviting it, supported and gently guided by the strap. Maybe each breath brings a little deepening, a little more twist. Take your time to come back up to center. Take hold of the strap with your left hand. Press your right hand down on the front of your right hip bone. Keep your pelvis squared to the floor, so try to keep the right cheek on the ground and let the limbs fall open to the left without the pelvis rolling that way. By keeping the pelvis where it is, the left hip might open some more. This can be some very deep stretching. To come out of this one, we always want to go slowly and gently. So really take your time, bring those limbs back to center line. Raise your right leg, step your right foot inside your strap. Take your left foot out, press the back of your left leg to the floor. Reach your right arm to the side. Draw your leg over to the left and turn your head to the right. Softly come back up through center. Take the strap in your right hand, press down on the front of your left hip, and let your limbs fall to the right. Nice and easy, come back to center. Lift your left leg, draw your knees in, set your strap aside. Reach your feet up, reach your hands up, take hold of your legs or your feet, however you want, and play with bending and straightening your arms and legs. In happy baby pose. If there's some other inversion you'd prefer, go for it. You can invert in whatever way you want. This is just one way to get your feet and your legs higher than your heart, which is what we mean in yoga when we say inversion. You can play with movement here, play with inverting as long as you like. Whenever you feel complete, make your way to your final resting pose. And that can be a pose of your choice. It doesn't have to be corpse pose. It might be with your legs extended, your feet splayed apart, and your hands resting out past your hips. That might not be comfortable. If this is not comfortable, make yourself comfortable. Sometimes this doesn't feel good in the lower back. You can support your lower back by planting the soles of your feet and letting your knees lean towards each other a bit. You might even come back to the posture you began practice in and conclude it in that same shape. Or maybe you've got something else in mind. You might scoot over by the wall or a piece of furniture and rest your legs on the wall to continue inverting. Get comfortable, find your comfortable stillness. You might return to just focusing on your breathing. You might reflect on an intention you set for your practice. You might just give your mind permission to disengage. Start to find some even deeper breath. Let your body start to move around bit by bit. Taking your time, letting small movements gradually lead to bigger movements. Whatever movements you want. When you're ready for bigger movements, you can gently sit yourself up. You can bring your hands up by your heart if you like. Thank you for coming together and sharing practice today. The light within me sees and honors that same light within each of you. Namaste. Again, this is Leo Bray on behalf of Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center. Visit us on Facebook at Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center or at urbanyoga.org on the web. Stop by the tip jar, check out the schedule. Questions and feedback are welcome on any channel you're connecting with us. Have a wonderful day.